I've been walking on ice. Wanna let everything go and feel alright. When I hear the drums and the heartbeats, sweat drip down our bodies. Oh, I know we're living. Run it down, we're gonna have a good time. 1,000 hands up to the sky. We gon' get toasted tonight. I've been feeling it all day. I wanna let it go. I wanna lose control. Oh, I'm ready to roll. And I've been daydreaming about this night for a long time. I wanna dance with you under the light. I toasted a wild one. I toasted a good life. I toasted the lovers. I toasted you and I toasted a wild one. To you and I. To you and I feel the party coming on, and I know you'll come along when you hear it in your ear, yeah. I know you're feeling the way we're moving. Nothing can stop it. We gon' let off the edge. I've been feeling it all day. I wanna let it go. I wanna lose control. Oh, I'm ready to roll. And I've been daydreaming about this night for a long time. I wanna dance with you under the light. I toasted a wild one. I toasted a good life. I toasted the lovers. I toasted you and I.
Good morning, millennials. Welcome back to the Morning Toast. Happy hump day. It is Wednesday in a cluttered, congested, and overpopulated New York. This week, more than ever, I am feeling the downsides of living in this godforsaken city. And you know what? I had a thought today? How grateful I am that Amazon didn't end up moving here.
Oh, well, of course.
And I know it was like very controversial because it would have been great for the economy and create a lot of jobs, but like we literally can't handle it. 1 week a year is the UN General Assembly, where diplomats from all around the world fly into New York to have the assembly at the UN.
To assemble.
I don't know what they do, but Greta Thunberg gave a speech, and that's literally all I've heard. Like, it's literally the most useless week. It's like these people whose jobs is literally like to do nothing, get together to do it together, and they cause so much traffic. They close every street. Every single diplomat from every country has at least 4 SUVs driving them around with 2 police escorts. It's pandemonium. You cannot move in the city. It's so crazy. It is one of the week. Today is a day for Cleveland. Like, we're moving.
It's a Cleveland week, and also we need to start planning better and just like take a vacation this week, because
we should have done podcast episodes from home, because it's and by the way, like the whole city, like I went into a meeting yesterday in Midtown, which is like the most affected area, and everyone in the office was like, how'd you get here? Like, it's literally like a war zone.
I've just been walking everywhere because there's no sense. And so now I just like have a backpack on all day and sneakers. Like when I get home, I change it, and so I can just walk everywhere.
Wow, you're such like a...
I'm so industrious. But remember, I came to your house yesterday. I mean, obviously I walked. I think it's the way to go.
I've been walking everywhere.
I wish
it's not physically possible to walk here.
It's not physically possible to walk here, but I wish that I could.
Yeah, also...
These boots are made for walking.
This is a week for moving to Cleveland, but it's also a week where you walk aggressively and like you shove tourists, you know?
Oh my God.
Like, me and Margot, it took us 3 hours to get home from Newark Airport. We got back from New Jersey into the city, 45 minutes. To get from just the tunnel to our houses was over an hour and a half. I got out and walked with my suitcase, which is the worst. And I was walking through the most touristy area because we got stuck in Times Square. I was fucking literally like side shoving a million tourists. Like, if you're in my way, that is your problem.
No, like, this is not a week for tourists to come tour.
No,
this
imagine
city.
being a tourist and like this is your first time coming to New York, and this is the week you happen to choose, and you probably think the city's crazy and it's, you know, hustle and bustle, but you probably think it's
Pandemonium,
insane.
yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not enjoyable.
I'm just so angry this morning. Like,
I've been planning my life and my week around knowing that there's traffic, so I'm really not making plans more than like 20 blocks away from me.
Especially during peak hours.
During peak hours.
Like 5 to 7, I'm home.
But also the hour, like 9 to 10.
Yeah, but that's when we have to get to work.
Yeah. It's
I
crazy.
made all my
how
meetings
long and how many Ubers it took for me, because I have to get one going a certain way in order to get here. I literally checked like my bank account, because it charges you every time that you have an Uber, but then they put it back on your card, maybe over 20 times just to get one going the right way.
It's so crazy. I literally yesterday made all my meetings calls. Like, I had to work from home. It's so crazy.
It's so crazy. Also, yesterday we did a Patreon episode.
Oh, yes, we did.
A full Dear Toasters episode. A lot of interesting quandaries, lots of mediocre advice. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, it was actually, we did a Patreon specific Dear Toasters, and we got submissions just for the Patreon episode. I guess people didn't want to submit to the podcast because it's like a little public, and we got such crazier ones. Like I was actually really surprised. I guess the idea of the episode being behind a paywall made people like open up more because it's not as public, and it was a great episode. So if you want to head to patreon.com/morningtoast, we did that yesterday, in addition to having like a bunch of pits yesterday. I had the biggest pit yesterday.
Oh my God, I had the biggest pit yesterday too. I was about to say, speaking of quandaries, yesterday I offended some people with what I said on the show about movie theaters, and there was a lot of talk about it in the
and
Toasters
people really
group.
want you to apologize.
And people really want me to apologize, and I've thought about this. Like, I've had conversations in my head for the past 24 hours, and I'm not going to apologize for what I said because people are making it so much more than it is, and I don't want to condone doing that. And like, people are inferring from what I said like so many other like awful like classist things that I meant, and I didn't mean anything more or less than what I said, so I'm not going to apologize and endorse what you guys are saying I meant.
Right,
also,
no, because it's the interpretations I think that people are being offended by, and I got a lot of messages of people like who were really upset by it, and then they messaged me like, I'm sorry, I read the stuff in the group first and then watched the episode and thought that the group's reaction was like a misinterpretation, and I think a lot of people who are speaking on it didn't even listen to it.
Totally.
Because they just heard Jackie say this thing, which is someone paraphrasing for you and inferring, which is not actually what you meant.
No, and like the statement itself, I'm not going to explain what I meant because I think the people who are waiting for an apology definitely don't want to hear me reiterate what I said. It's not like my finest statement. I'm not going to put it as my yearbook quote.
Right.
But like that's what this show is. We say what we think. We say how we feel. This was a feeling I had a few years ago. I was sharing with the class, and I think by apologizing for it, it doesn't set a good precedent for this show. Like, we're allowed to just say how we feel,
right,
and not apologize for every small single thing. Otherwise, I won't feel empowered to just speak my mind.
And then at the same time, many times I've said something on the show that I deeply regretted.
100%.
And people have explained to me like why it was hurtful, and I didn't think of it in the moment, and then after speaking with people, like I understand how that can be hurtful. And always, whenever someone explains something to me and I agree with them and I do see how my words were wrong, I am always very happy to apologize.
Me too.
And I think that if we just start like randomly apologizing.
Yeah, it takes like when I apologize, I try to be a woman of my word. When I apologize, I mean it, and I'm truly deeply sorry. If I start apologizing for things just because people want me to, it takes away from all of my past apologies and all of my inevitable future apologies, because we talk over an hour every day on the show. There's going to be something that people don't agree with, and by the way, I think that's good.
Yeah, of course.
We shouldn't all agree all the time. You guys shouldn't agree with every single thing that we say. And yeah, bring it up in a group. The way that thread like went with like all the different tangents and like inferences that people made, I wasn't totally here for, but voicing your opinion, I'm so here for. So I don't think this show, the group, should ever become like an echo chamber where you have to agree with every single thing that we say. And that also means that we don't have to apologize for every single thing that we say. And so for this one, I'm not apologizing because I think that it takes away from all the apologies that I mean.
And not only that, everyone is allowed to disagree with everyone, but at the end of the day, you were stating how you felt.
Yeah.
Like in this current
I wasn't
climate,
saying it matter of fact.
Right, and you weren't saying that everyone should feel this way. You're just saying your experience with going to movies in the past few years, because it has become like such an unsafe space. At the end of the day, that's your feeling, and regardless of whether people think it's valid, you are entitled to your opinion. You're not shoving your opinion on anyone else. It's the way that you feel, and that's that.
That's that. And I know even the people who didn't make inferences were just saying that they were upset that I was so flippant about such a serious subject. And again, I think it's important on this show that we reserve the right to do that. That's how that's how we get through things that are difficult to talk about. It's just, shedding a little light and a little laughter on the subject. And I think it's important that we do that. That's what this show is about. There are enough shows out there that will handle serious matters very seriously, and you can get that experience somewhere else. Not a lot of people do what we do, and I like what we do, and I like how and when I don't, I will apologize, but this isn't one of those times.
It's okay to laugh about things that make you sad, and it's okay to not agree with what someone says, but how you disagree with them is what's more important. Like some of the things you can disagree, like civil discourse, I know it's like a new concept in America, but you can disagree with someone and still be friends with them. Like it's so crazy how it's so extreme. So I just want everyone to keep in mind, like if you really were so offended, like it brought you to tears, let's say.
And if that is the case, I feel so bad that I made you feel bad. I do. And I'm sorry for that, but I know that's not an apology, but that's never what we're trying to do here on the show.
It's important to keep that in mind. Literally, the point of this show is never to be anything other than happy and light and fun. There is enough tragedy going on in the world. We do not need to contribute to that. So I think it's important for everyone to always keep in mind the intention of this show is never, ever, ever, ever to upset anyone. And if by some chance that does happen, please keep in mind that that's just not in our intentions. And there's a way to communicate, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you, and people, when I've said something and thought it was totally innocent and someone communicated it to me in a respectful way about how incredibly stupid it was what I said or ignorant, like, thank you, that's helpful.
No, and I have pits all the time about things that I say on the show, and sometimes someone will mention it, and I'm like, yeah, no, I fucked up, and I'm so sorry, and I mean it. But sometimes, like, I'm not seeing what you're seeing, and that's fine too.
That's fine too, but I can't stress enough, civil discourse, ladies and gentlemen, civil discourse.
It's good stuff, right,
It's
Kals?
good stuff.
Right.
It's all good. We are going to deliver the Fast Five, but I wanted to share an update, a story we shared yesterday about Robert Smith, who was that billionaire who paid off everyone's debt. I actually got a DM from a toaster who had some good tea, and it's not bad. It's just interesting tea on Robert Smith. Robert Smith owns an equity firm called Vista that owns a bunch of companies, and this girl, what?
Vistaprint?
I was thinking that.
This girl works for one of those companies.
Okay.
He's the second richest African American in the U.S. behind Oprah. It's super cool that he paid off all the student loan debt, but it was for an all-boys school. Whatever. That's where they asked him to speak.
That is where they asked him to speak, but that's also interesting that they left that out.
Yeah, no, I thought that
And
was...
you know what's also interesting? I kept on trying to get more information on Morehouse College, and no, I did not see that anywhere.
She also, this is the most important part, all the wives of the executives at Vista got Hermes bags for Christmas. Did you hear that?
No.
They all got Hermes bags for Christmas, and the CEO of her company got a Bentley.
Oh my God, he knows how to live.
Just wanted to share the tea. Love the show.
Like, that's what, if you were a rich person, like, you would do.
No, 1,000%.
That's
giving
a
out
great
Hermes
way
bags.
to spend money. And also, like, an Hermes bag is a perfect gift because obviously it's, like, highly coveted, but, like, not everyone wants one. But you can sell it and just get cash.
And
but
it's
he can't
also-
just give you cash.
It's a great gift also because it was for the wives of executives. I mean, I guess that's assuming that all the executives are men, but whatever.
But okay.
Or gay, I guess, but...
Yeah, or, like, maybe you have a female executive and, you know, a husband wants a nurse.
Yeah, right. No, I'm just saying, like, it's actually a nice gift because I'm sure, you know, as executives, they work a lot. And, like, the wives deserve something, too.
Okay, also, he went to Morehouse.
Oh, okay. So that actually makes sense.
Makes a
I didn't
lot
think it
of
was such a
sense.
big deal that it was an all-boys school. That's where they asked him to speak. Like,
That's where he went.
If
This
Gail
was a
asked
boy.
him, maybe he would have done it at Yale. Like, that's where he was asked.
Now all these colleges are going to be asking him to speak.
Totally.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting update from yesterday that I wanted to share.
Well, thank you for that update.
What else happened to me last night that I want to share? I'm like just like an endless pit of hunger. Like my stomach is starting to
Why
hurt
didn't
from
you
how
eat?
hungry I am. Because Ben is out of town, and for some reason, like Ben is my structure. Like when Ben gets home, we eat dinner, and it was like 8 o'clock already, and he didn't eat. And I'm like, am I really gonna order food now? Like, you're not supposed to eat after 8. So then by 11 o'clock, I had to get ice cream. Like it was just so stupid. It was really like a poorly managed day for me.
I'm sorry. I'm trying intermittent fasting again because I've been hearing like new good things.
Ugh.
So I'm hungry, but I have a reason to be.
Yeah, I'm just so hungry all the time. And you know what? I'm tired of being hungry. And every now and then when I'm trying to like be healthy and like not eat as poorly, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. Like I'm just gonna eat what I want. And whenever I'm like eating what I want and like just being in poor health, I'm still hungry. Like that feeling doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't. And it's also like it's a state of mind.
No, right now it's a physicality.
For sure. But generally speaking, like you're probably not that hungry.
I agree. You're just bored.
Yeah, and you just want to eat because it's the best thing to do.
We have Stephanie Hollman on the show today from The Real Housewives of Dallas. We're very excited, so we are going to get through the stories so we can talk to her. She is just chef's kiss. Like, she's everything. I'm really excited to talk to her. She was on The Breath, but I wasn't there.
No, she was on The Breath, but she Skyped in.
Oh, yes.
So it felt like...
So we never actually have met her.
No, and so although she's been on this show before, like she kind of hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited. I got my boots on for her, like just want to respect, you know?
So let me check my watch. Is it, yeah, it's time.
It's time?
Yeah.
Snitch?
It's time.
Okay, it's time.
It is time.
It is time.
It's time for the Fast 5 stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite out of your morning toast.
And it is. It's time, but you know, part of my job on this show is to rake in the dollars, and it would be absolutely heartbreaking if I didn't let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Noom. Getting in shape isn't about losing weight. It's about learning healthier habits and feeling better about yourself. Whether that's more stamina to keep up with your busy life, finally getting into those gold jeans, being more in tune with your body's needs, or practicing more self-care. What if you could use one program for all your health and weight loss needs? No more hunting for training apps or workouts or calorie trackers and meal plans. You can add a goal specialist to your community of members to keep you motivated and accountable, and it's like a workout bestie. Specific goals you want to achieve So basically, Noom is basically like the Toast. It's an online community, people who all have the same goal. They want to get better self-care. They want to feel more confident in clothing, feel like they have more energy, and just get that overall glow. It's super easy and convenient because of the app. It can help you break bad habits. I just think having that accountability factor on your phone is what helped me the most. Like, I just knew that app was staring at me, and if I didn't like contribute and I didn't stay in line, like it would just sit there staring at me.
Everything would fall apart.
It's a habit-changing solution, but it understands that like not every day is going to be your best day, and it's like okay to go off track as long as you get back on. You could chat with your goal specialist and the Noom community to get and give help to people going through the same thing. It helps the users learn and develop a new relationship with food through personalized courses. It's based in psychology. They teach you why you do the things you do, and it arms you with the tools to break the bad habits to replace them, like ordering ice cream at 11 o'clock last night. You don't have to change everything in one day. Small steps make big progress. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com/toast. That's NOOM.com/toast. What do you have to lose? Visit Noom.com/toast to start your trial today. That's Noom.com/toast, the last weight loss program you'll ever need.
Love it. Sign on. Look amazing.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, first up, a little sad news. Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary's wife has been charged in the fatal crash. The wife of Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary has been charged in connection with the fatal boat crash last month on a Canadian lake, according to reports. Linda O'Leary, 56, was charged with careless operation of a vessel stemming from the August 24th collision on Lake Joseph in Ontario that killed 2 passengers of another vessel, CTV News reported on Tuesday. She was allegedly piloting the boat when it slammed into a larger 13-person vessel, returning to a lake cottage just before midnight. A New York man who was driving the other boat was also charged in connection with the incident. The driver, Richard Ruh, was charged with failing to exhibit a navigation light, the outlet reported. Gary Poltash, 64, of Florida, was struck in the head and killed instantly in the collision, officials said. Another passenger, Suzanne Brito, was brought to the hospital where she later succumbed to her injuries.
So sad that 2 people died. There seems to be this overwhelming consensus among people that his wife is taking the fall for him. Like it's baseless. There's no proof, but like people just genuinely think because he was drinking and she wasn't, that like she took the fall for him, because if she gets charged, it's much less likely that she'll go to prison because she wasn't drinking.
Yeah, and there was a headlight situation.
Yeah.
This is just so sad and bad. I saw a little bit of rumors that
but it's founded in
on
nothing.
But it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is crazy.
This is crazy. Like, do you think? Well, the new season of Shark Tank actually premieres this week, and it's already filmed, so like won't affect. I just like when something like this happens. Like, how does it affect your day job? You know?
No. And what I think about is like Lori Loughlin, who was fired for like just being on trial for something, and no one died, and so it's like.
But also, it's Kevin's wife. So you're not allegedly, but so you're not held accountable for the actions of your wife.
I guess.
Like, it shouldn't affect your job.
Has William H. Macy's job been affected?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then I guess Kevin
He's
O'Leary.
the star of Shameless. I actually finished Shameless last night. I know you don't watch, but like everyone's dropping out. Like,
do you think if he had been charged like with his wife?
I mean, William H. Macy?
Yeah, if he had been charged with his wife, like just like how Massimo and Lori were, do you think he would have been fired from Shameless?
I don't know.
It sounds like no.
It sounds like no, because you want to know why? His character is like such a degenerate. He's like a deadbeat dad, an alcoholic, drug addict, that like honestly this is kind of on brand for him. I don't know.
And I guess it's like a Hallmark. And Felicity Huffman hasn't necessarily been fired from anything.
Because she wasn't actively working on something.
She wasn't on a show. She's done movies.
Like Hallmark is a family network. I understand why they wouldn't want to be tied to that. But like Showtime is like, they show titties on Showtime. You know, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I actually don't think he would have been fired. But if he went to jail, maybe.
But ABC is a family network.
But you know what?
NBC. Where does it air?
Showtime.
Shark Tank.
Oh, ABC. Oh. Yeah. But with William H. Macy, I don't think he would have been fired. One, because Emmy Rossum just stepped down from the show, as did Margaret, what's his name, who's dating Peyton List?
Cameron Moynihan?
Moynihan, yeah. So, like, the show is really losing its, like, core family members, and Frank is now really the star of the show. Like, he always was, but, like, Emmy Rossum was, like, kind of there, too. But he's the star. And I don't think they would really care. Like, it's not like he's this, good father in the show. Yeah.
I know, but that shouldn't...
I know it shouldn't matter, but, like, to me as a viewer, like, I couldn't care less.
Yeah. And also, he wasn't charged. He wasn't responding to the emails. And the crime that Felicity committed was, like, less severe than everyone else. So
yeah, they really managed to get out completely unscathed.
Not completely. She's going to jail for 14 days.
I know, but like in if you look at it big picture of how bad it could have been, he wasn't charged. She's only going to jail for 14 days. And I was watching Nightly Pop where they said she's probably going, you have to go to jail a certain amount of distance from where you were sentenced. And there's like a prison for like, you know, rich people that she requested to go to. It's like they have yoga, they have camp. Like it's not, and you only have to serve if you're on good behavior, like 85% of your sentence. So I don't know what 85% of 14 is, but she could end up spending like only 10 days in prison. And if you look at it from just like an Opta's perspective, how bad it could have been to what it actually is going to be, it's like they really got out clean.
Oh, I disagree. I think the crime of they spent $15,000 for one kid and then they didn't do it again because they obviously realized that they did something wrong, and that meaning jail time, I think that it's actually a huge punishment. And this is like, they couldn't have gotten anything more than that, so this is really like the worst that it could be.
I don't know. I think that...
Like if Lori Loughlin wound up with 14 days, that would be like, you know what, it's not so bad, she committed a major crime.
Yeah, but at the same time, like what the judge said was like, this needs to be made an example out of. Like, it's the pinnacle of like privilege, and the judge was like, regardless of like, yes, she didn't kill anyone, like if you think about it, but knowing that like as a celebrity you get special treatment, like I don't think 14 days in prison is like really that big of a deal. Like I think this is a fair...
I think prison is a big deal, period.
I think this is a fair punishment. Like I think the punishment actually does fit the crime.
Oh, I don't know, 15 grand to get your kid into school and then you didn't do it again. Like the fact that...
Yeah, 15 grand, but it's also like you were writing it off as like a charity donation. That is technically tax evasion because you don't pay taxes on charity deductions. Like,
but it's a 15 grand deduction.
Yeah.
So the total bill of taxes that they saved isn't that much.
Also, I think in like the grand scheme of the justice system, it's almost a light sentence. Like now people are pulling up examples of like people who aren't rich and famous who
that I agree with.
Who like lied about where their kids live so they could go to a better school zone and are spending 5 years in prison.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's a whole other issue.
So I think in like the fucked up climate of our, you know, broken judicial system, this seems fair.
This seems fair when you compare it to other things, but on its own it seems extreme. But again, she can handle it. Lynette,
she can handle it.
Yeah. But I don't know, if I'm Lori Loughlin, I'm shaking in my boots.
Yeah, totally. This does not bode well.
No.
Because people were wondering if the two of them would ever even get jail time at all. So if the one who did lesser is getting jail time, it's not going to be good.
Okay, so back to Kevin O'Leary's wife.
Yes.
This is bad.
Yes.
2 people have passed.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
And the shadiness is also confusing.
I think it's bad.
Yeah, me too.
And like I think it's like gonna get into the Shark Tank.
Oh, you think like
I
this
do.
might be the end of Mr. Wonderful?
I don't know what the right thing to do is. I don't make the decisions, but like this is bad.
Yeah.
And Shark Tank is like a family show.
That's true.
His name is Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, and by the way, like people are like loving the joke. Like this is not so wonderful.
Oh God.
Yeah, like you can't do anything these days without like people throwing it back in your face, you know?
Yeah, but the headlights on the victim's boat
were off.
So like, I don't know. There has to be a trial.
Yeah.
Innocent until proven
so
guilty.
Many trials. We need to go to a trial once.
No, that's jury duty.
No, you could sit. It's open to the public.
Yeah, it's so boring.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's not like Law and Order?
No, it's no. They just like get to the interesting parts. Okay, next up, Brad Pitt is dating designer and holistic healer Satari Khalsa. You guys, Brad Pitt has a new lady in his life, and it is not Kourtney Kardashian.
Very upsetting.
Nor is it Khloe.
But you know what's interesting is the type of girl that he's dating who's like this holistic, you know, crystal healer, makes me think that actually Kourtney Kardashian might have been his type because she's very like holistic, organic.
No, she is his type.
Like this might even confirm for me that like they were doing something.
100%. The actor 55 is dating jewelry designer and holistic healer Satari Khalsa, a source exclusively reveals in the new issue of Us Weekly. According to the source, Khalsa 50 is earthy and much more low maintenance than the women he's been with in the past. She's very strong, adds the insider, has a beautiful mind. That's what he's attracted to.
Honestly, sounds like the insider is Satari because like who describes someone as having a great mind?
Totally.
She wrote that about
Here's
herself.
a photo of them together where they don't look like a couple.
I was going to say the
whatsoever.
photo does not look incriminating at all. They look like two people who are sitting next to each other at a restaurant. Like they might not even be at the same reservation.
The photo's from 2018. It's from a year ago. So maybe they just like met Yeah, they met
Connected.
there. They spent the evening sitting side by side, laughing and talking intimately.
Yeah, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if Us Weekly getting an exclusive about Brad Pitt is necessarily the most reliable, but I'm open to it, you know? I'll keep this in the back of my mind, but in my mind, he's still single.
Upon further investigation, the source is Sathari.
Yeah, she fucking released a story about herself, and where do you think they got the picture? From her phone.
Yeah, no, I'm officially not buying it, and I'm back on the Courtney and Brad ship.
Yeah.
Choo choo.
The insider's information is like a little too specific. Like it sounds like it was literally written by a crystal healer. She has a great mind, strong brain. Like that is what a crystal healer and holistic healer would say.
Yeah. So then like promoting her jewelry collection.
You know, she should have been more specific. Like if she wanted us to know that it was written in like the third person, quote unquote, she should have been like, yeah, fucking Sathari fucking rocks. And then I'd be like, this definitely wasn't written by Sathari.
Yeah. Or be like, you know, they're having trouble integrating their lives together, but they're hellbent on making it work.
Yeah.
Something like a negative with a positive.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's still dating Kourtney Kardashian. That's the official word from the Morning Toast.
You know what? Let's see what happens next Monday after Sunday service. You know, like what do the news publications have to say then?
Yeah, and maybe maybe Brad put this out so that like Kourtney would get a little bit more serious about him.
Even though I don't think if Brad and Kourtney are actually dating, like I don't think the one that needs to get serious is Kourtney. Like she knows a good man when she sees it, and Brad is just like.
Does she? That's actually like not what she knows.
Yeah, because she didn't know Scott. And to be honest, I actually
But he knows a good woman.
I ship him and Chloe actually a lot more.
I know.
She's such like a fun, free spirit.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it would work. Like I think actually vibe-wise, Brad and Kourtney like are on the same wavelength. Like
no, like in the place in their lives, they actually look to be a little bit more compatible. But aura, spirit-wise, I think Brad Pitt could really use a Khloe Kardashian in his life.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I mean,
but
we could all
could
use a Khloe Kardashian in our life.
She's just such like a free spirit.
What? She is a free spirit. Yeah. She loves lyrics and she gets her ears parsed at the Galleria.
It's true.
Okay, next story. Demi Moore has...
Demi, sorry.
I like saying...
Demi?
It's Demi.
It's Demi.
And normally I would just say Demi, but I like saying Demi Moore.
Okay. Demi Moore.
Has released a book and she is taking over the headlines with some of the things she's saying.
Yeah.
And some of the things she's saying, other people are saying,
are not
true. So Demi Moore says that she relapsed after Ashton Kutcher allegedly said that alcoholism, quote, wasn't a real thing.
Oh, no.
Demi Moore was on a romantic vacation with her ex-husband Ashton Kutcher when she broke her sobriety of nearly 20 years. Quote, Ashton was enjoying a glass of good red wine when he said, I don't know if alcoholism is a real thing. I think it's all about moderation, she writes in quotes. That she's quoting him.
Like she's paraphrasing.
Yeah. No, she direct quoted him.
How can you remember?
Remember a direct quote from 20 years ago.
Yeah, and
it wasn't 20 years ago, but
whatever, 10.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, maybe she had kept a journal.
Maybe, okay.
A planner.
Yeah.
Where she wrote out mean quotes of the day.
Mean things my husband said to me today.
She writes in her tell-all book, Inside Out, I wanted to be that girl, the girl who could have a glass of wine at dinner or do a tequila shot at a party. In my mind, Ashton wanted that too. So I tried to become that, a fun, normal girl. Moore 56 continued, I didn't think, quote, this is a kid in his 20s who has no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I think, quote, I have nearly 2 decades of sobriety under my belt and that's a huge accomplishment. Instead, I cast about for justifications. That night she had a beer from the minibar hotel minibar.
Oh my God, that is so sad. Like what an incredibly dumb thing to say. I kind of know what he means. Like that's what we talk about sometimes, like with Countess Luann. It's like because she got arrested, is being treated like she is an alcoholic, when in reality, I don't think she's an alcoholic. I just think she literally cannot. She's like a bad drunk.
Yeah.
And for her, it definitely is an aspect of moderation. But alcoholism is definitely a very real thing, and there are people who can't moderate, and that's why they are alcoholics.
Yeah.
So that's really sad, and the fact that she broke her sobriety like on a beer is even sadder.
Yeah, she detailed her spiral back into addiction, blaming herself for losing a pregnancy because of her drinking and the collapse of her relationship with Kutcher, with whom she was married from 2005 to 2013. She's talking a lot about her relationship with him in this book. And
because it was so crazy. Like when it was happening, I didn't realize that it was a big deal, but like now I realize, because I didn't really know who Demi Moore was. Obviously I knew who Ashton Kutcher was from Punk'd, but I didn't know who Demi Moore was. And now, like as an adult who understands more of like the Hollywood landscape, I realize these two getting married for a long time is really weird.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And now that he's married to Mila Kunis and he has this like whole family, it's crazy to think that he had this whole other life like in recent memory that was very public.
Yeah.
But so he's obviously pissed, and he tweeted the other night.
Especially because, like, he's probably pissed for a million reasons, but he really has a great image. Like, he does a lot of charity work. Like, everyone loves him and Mila. Like, they always go on Ellen.
He's on Shark Tank.
Yeah, he's like an investor. He has A+. Like, he's always sharing good charity videos. Like, I just think this is like a huge dent in an image he has really worked hard to create.
So he tweeted, quote, "I was about to push the button on a really snarky tweet. Then I saw my son, daughter, and wife, and I deleted it. Life is good."
Yeah, I think that's wise.
I think that's wise too. She's also making claims just about their relationship and him having threesomes and her fulfilling that, like just a lot of scandalous stuff that may or may not be true. She also talks about how she took John Cryer's virginity.
And then he tweeted, "No, I lost my virginity in high school, but thanks. But you probably thought I lost my virginity because I was so bad at sex."
Oh, that's hilarious, but it's just not good because now it looks like her book is full of falsities.
Yeah, and I don't think when it comes to things she said about her marriage, like I don't think she's lying, because I think everything in there, when it comes to a marriage, it's like what she perceived as her truth. Like there really are two sides to every story, and they're all true. Like you and I could have an interaction and recount it completely differently, and neither one of us are lying.
No, I agree.
It's really just like how we perceived it. So I don't think she's lying, and I don't think he's probably lying and wanting to deny what she's saying. I just think it's really like perception is everything.
I would agree. And I think actually what he tweeted was perfect, because it's like him saying, not everything that she's saying is my version of the truth either. I'm in a good enough place that it's not going to bog me down, and I'm not going to my camp isn't like running around trying to like get
create
on top
a statement.
of this. And it's crazy that this book is just like really making a big splash,
Yeah,
But if you had asked me like whose tell-all is going to be all over the headlines, like I wouldn't have said Demi Moore.
No, totally. Like she's really very low key.
Yeah.
Except, do you remember kind of recently, like she was away on vacation and like someone died in her pool?
Yeah.
I wonder whatever happened to that.
Yeah.
That was a fucking weird story.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. Honestly, I might read the book.
It sounds good.
It does.
Actually, I meant to tell you, I've been taking around Howard Stern's book with me because you rave so much about it. And
it's too heavy to take around.
Oh my God, Jackie, it literally ruined my bag. And it's such a big book.
It's so big.
And you read it so fast. And like, I really don't like to read, but I'm loving it.
You're reading it?
Yes, I read it the entire trip.
Is it true?
Yeah, the entire trip, but she read it.
Okay.
I read it, and so it's basically like he segments. There's like a million chapters, and they're all interviews with different celebrities. And I did skip some, like Anderson Cooper.
I think there was maybe like one that I skipped.
No, I skipped Anderson Cooper. I also was about to skip Bill Murray, and then I'm so glad that I didn't, because I'm like shocked at how normal he is. Like you think he's like this crazy guy. No, he's just like very normal. And it's such a good book. Obviously, like getting to know celebrities is like the best part because I'm obsessed with pop culture. But Howard is such a stand-up guy, and he talks so much about like him going to therapy and how it helped him so much because he used to be like this evil, jealous person. And when he was talking about like his jealousy, like I totally related to it. Like he's like, it's such a terrible way to live. Like when people around you, like good things happen for them, and like you want to be happy, but like
you physically can't.
You physically can't because you're so jealous and you feel like it should be happening to you. And like I was embarrassed reading it because I'm like, that's literally how I feel whenever like someone totally unrelated to me like gets like a good thing. I'm like, that should be me. Like it's such an awful way to live, and I knew that about myself, but then like hearing that like someone else literally had the exact same feeling was like kind of eye-opening, and I was like, damn, and he said like when he stopped feeling that way, it's like this huge weight lifted off of him, and he did that by going to therapy, and I'm like, damn, like I need that weight lifted off of me. Like it's a terrible way to live.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in there that you can relate to.
Yeah.
And I look forward to hearing your additional thoughts.
I'm really like enjoying it, and I don't want to finish it. Like I like reading it like whenever I need a book, not like...
The good news is, like, when I finished it, I felt better because I was like, oh, now I can just go listen to Howard Stern knowing all this stuff about him. Whereas when I was just, like, an uneducated person, like, when I didn't know him, I didn't understand, like, Baba Booey.
And I've always said, like, I want to go on Howard Stern, but, like, after reading the book, like, I don't know if I would ever really go.
No, you have to. If you ever got that opportunity, you have to.
Maybe.
Have to.
Okay.
Have to.
So thanks for the recommendation.
No problem. I don't recommend, like, bad, especially not
No,
a
you don't.
book.
No, you don't.
I'm not
Especially
gonna-
to me.
I'm not going to waste your time on reading the written word if it ain't good. Okay, next story, craziness. Anheuser-Busch to have, quote, no further association with Carson King over social media posts. Okay, so all week a story has been coming out, like a really sweet story in the sports world, so we didn't really cover it, and I didn't really hear about it until today. Where there's this guy, Carson King, he like held up a sign on ESPN in the audience saying like, needs money for his
Need money for beer.
Busch
Like I
Light.
wanted Busch Light. Here's my Venmo.
Yeah, he was looking to raise $25 like within out. He got on
It was
TV.
like supposed to be like cute and kitschy.
Like a cute viral thing. Within like hours, he had $600, and then he started raising so much money, and he immediately called his family and was like, "I'm donating all this money to like
the Iowa Children's Wing
Hospital research." So it just became this really feel-good thing. All these different brands got on board.
And then once he announced that he was going to be donating it, he got even more money. I think he's up to like 1.3 million.
Yeah,
and
then,
he stood by the fact that he was going to donate it all.
And Busch Light and Venmo both said that they would match whatever he raises.
Oh, wow.
A lot of other corporate sponsors got on board. But as of this morning, Anheuser-Busch announced Tuesday that it will cut ties with Carson King, the Iowa State fan who has raised over $1 million for the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital over multiple offensive social media posts he made. King held a press conference Tuesday to discuss a controversial post. He said a reporter with the Des Moines Register called attention to an offensive social media post he made when he was 16 years old. Quote, 8 years ago when I was a sophomore in high school, I made some social media posts with my friends that quoted and referenced the show Tosh.0. One of those posts was brought to my attention by a member of the media today. The Des Moines Register has been nothing but kind in all of their coverage, and I appreciate the reporter pointing out the post to me. I want everyone to understand that this was my decision to publicly address the posts and apologize. I believe that is the right thing to do. And then in a statement, Anheuser-Busch said, Carson King had multiple social media posts that do not align with our values as a brand or as a company, and we will have no further association with him. We are honoring our commitment by donating more than $350,000 to the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics.
And in his statement, he also went on to say, which I thought I really related to, he was like, when I was reading this tweet, like I had to be reminded that I even said that. Like I didn't even remember ever writing that, and I think that we should now, like, I choose to live my life by this tweet that I wrote 3 years ago. And it was talking about how, like, you know, hatred and racism is a learned behavior that needs to be unlearned. Like, he's obviously very woke. And his tweet from 3 years ago is incredibly different from his tweet from 6 years ago. 8 years ago. And this story is just, like, so disappointing. Like, it's really like a culmination. And and the best part of this whole story is that the person who wrote the article for the Des Moines Register, and really did like a quote-unquote background check to find these tweets. Obviously, like sports fans went after him and found literally some, like of all the tweets I've ever seen, like some of the worst, like N-word, F-word, like awful, awful, awful. So he is more than likely going to be fired by the Des Moines Register. And he who scoundreled up one screenshot actually had like 4 or 5 or 6 of his own. And I think in more recent history. But this whole scenario like gave me the biggest pit. Like this is the exact problem with cancel culture. Like it negates positivity.
Yeah, and in one fell swoop, we demonstrate what is right and wrong with the world. You
Yeah.
know? Like these wonderful moments that like go viral and like
are meant to be just sweet.
And they're just meant to be good. And now it's like marred down by all of this stuff from like so long ago. And I don't know why someone would like seek out, and the posts of his have not been released.
Right, they paraphrased it in the Register article, and then I tried to find them on Twitter, and I can't find them.
Yeah, so
I don't even know exactly what it was that he said.
But let's just go with offensive posts.
It was bad. It was a Tosh.0 reference about like a joke comparing like African American women to gorillas. Like it was not good.
No, that's not. No,
awful.
Offensive is offensive, and this is not good. I just like. I don't know.
Like the guy, the journalist who wrote it, one of his tweets was like, "Don't make me convert you to a Jew."
I mean, it's just so rich.
No, that's just like the hypocrisy. It's like everyone makes mistakes and everyone can change. And do I think that Carson King in present moment is racist? No. Do I think that he made a mistake? Yes. Do I think he should be punished for one thing he said 8 years ago? Absolutely not. Do I think the children of the Iowa hospital should be punished for what he did 8 years ago? No.
Like, everyone's still going to give the money, but obviously, like...
It's tainted.
It's over. The campaign is over. There could have been more money to be raised, but it's not going to happen. And I just think, like... I don't know.
And again, this might not be a popular opinion simply because we have been on the side of the tweets. And like when you read something that someone says, you automatically assume that's how they feel.
Yeah.
And knowing firsthand that that's 100% not, like things that I tweeted 8-10 years ago, like are absolutely no reflection of the person that I am today. And I know that, but it's hard for someone else to know that.
Oh, someone else sees, oh, this is what they really think.
Yeah. So I totally understand why someone would be up in arms and really think that Carson King is this person and what he said 8 years ago is who he is. But as someone who was, you know, held responsible for what they said 8 years ago, and people really thought that's how I feel, I know firsthand that like that is more than likely not the case.
Yeah, and also, what's the deal with Tosh.0? Has he been canceled? These are his words.
He's very controversial.
Oh, is he? Does he still work?
He does.
I remember when like everyone used to watch that show, and I don't.
I never got into it.
I always get him confused with Dane Cook.
They do look alike. That's actually a good call.
Okay, thank you. But he would just like say crazy stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought it was like about. I guess it's about women. I
have
remember.
no idea what it's about. I don't think we're his target demographic.
But he's not like a working comedian.
I think he is. Daniel Tosh is his name. It's like Ben used to be into it. Like it's for boys and it's before our time.
Got it. Okay, well, that's that on that.
Yeah.
Like.
Just like a really good story that just went wrong. You know?
Yeah.
What's funny?
It's a really good story that went wrong.
It was like cute and sweet.
Yeah.
And now it ain't.
Yep. So everyone like, and also he's just a regular guy. He was just looking for some beer. He wasn't trying to be a public figure.
Right, he wasn't trying to go viral.
Sometimes people put themselves in the spotlight, and yes, you have to answer for all of your sins. But like, he wasn't trying to do any of that. So now he's just like this, it's this weird situation for a guy who was just trying to do some good.
Yeah.
I just don't see the point. Like, and the fact that the reporter himself, it's just rich.
Yep.
You know? And that's the point. It's like everyone.
It's as rich as Robert Smith.
Whether you're casting judgment or whether you're being judged for what you've done, like everyone has made mistakes.
And everyone has said something that they obviously are ashamed of. And I think how you handle it speaks volumes about you. And I think he really handled it like a champ. Like,
yeah.
He will get a ton of pussy after this.
Oh, for sure.
He's Carson King of Iowa.
Great name.
Totally. Yeah. It's 11/11. Make a wish.
I wish that the toxic cancel culture eventually makes its way out of society and that I, can get a Netflix special.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Fifth and final story, a little
business.
So this isn't something that we've really talked about. I think we talked about the fact that WeWork is trying to go public.
Okay.
And I think we chat all over that just a little bit.
Right.
But WeWork, there's been major drama with WeWork in like the biz community recently, and specifically around their CEO.
Why? Is it because everyone's just walking around giving out their business cards, causing controversy?
Yeah, it's like there's such a competitive like nature with the
Yeah,
businesses.
that they're literally going at each other's throats.
Yeah, but today's biz news, is it brought to you by
Vistaprint. The importance of feeling professional, polished, and prepared when it counts is right now. For small business owners and people who produce their own podcasts, being plugged in and prepared when an opportunity comes up is crucial. We know this firsthand. Those moments happen all the time. They're happening now, and having a business card that shows how professional you are in your pocket, ready to hand out, is the first step in making something good happen. You can choose a style, a finish, shape, or paper with Vistaprint. You own the now with free shipping on any business card in any quantity. And because you can pick colors, fonts, designs, and images, it means you can create something as unique and compelling as your business. You plug your information into tons of templates. They have fresh designs and cool styles for your type of company. Or you can upload your own original layout. You can upgrade to a unique touch like rounded corners, pick the paper stock, the style, the quantity, and all the details that are right for you. Vistaprint wants you to be able to own the now in any situation, which is why our listeners will get free shipping on all business cards, any style, any quantity. Just go to Vistaprint.com and enter promo code TOAST2 for free shipping on all business cards and any style, any quantity. It's a limited time offer, so own the now at Vistaprint.com, promo code TOAST2. That is promo code TOAST followed by the number 2. Thank you guys. Back to the biz news.
Back to the biz news. WeWork CEO steps down as company reportedly considers layoffs. So they are trying to go public by the end of the year at this insane valuation. There have been all of these analyses of the company where it's like it's not worth anything. What they're doing is out of control. They have no real plan. And so now the CEO has stepped down because I think a lot of people were finding fault with him for the company's failures. But it's getting crazy because they're still trying to go public by the end of the year, and if they don't, they could default on like millions, billions of dollars worth of loans.
Well,
And
that's
debt.
crazy because when you think about WeWork, I don't think it's the concept that's like what's going to make them go public. It's the fact that they own so much real estate. Like,
But they don't. I asked someone, they own some of it and they don't own some of it.
okay, well then never mind.
They're not the founder.
As you know, as a small company that actively looked in a WeWork, I cannot imagine anyone who wants to work in a WeWork. It is so fucking expensive, and it's literally a cubicle. Like, we went into a WeWork and we like thought we had a healthy budget, and it was literally like it was shocking. It was demoralizing that they would even stick 3 people in a surface that small. Like,
Yes.
it was shocking. And this doesn't surprise me that they're failing. Like, maybe make bigger office spaces for less expensive prices, and you will have a better business.
Totally. So my newsletter summed it up really well for me today because it's a lot to wrap your head around.
Okay.
My newsletter is called Need to Know, and it's a good one. Adam Newman has stepped down as CEO of WeWork and will serve as non-executive chairman of the company he co-founded as it scrambles to save its IPO. Newman was forced out over scrutiny of his management style, erratic behavior, and WeWork's huge losses. The We Company, as it's formally known, is also said to be considering laying off as much as a third of its staff while it works to go public by the end of the year. If WeWork doesn't make that deadline, it may have to default on billions of debt.
Drama, you know, that's why being a business owner in this day and age, it's not easy.
But what's so crazy is that they're in either a place where they're going to default on $1 billion of debt, or they're going to go public at a $47 billion IPO.
Like, how can you be both? Whenever I hear about companies that like make no money, have 1 million people on staff, like that is what being like a tech company in this day and age is. Like, never having sold a dollar, but automatically being worth over $1 million.
Oh, over $1 billion.
It's so crazy.
No, or selling billions of dollars, Uber, and being worth nothing.
And not being able to make a profit for the next 10 years. I don't understand Uber at all.
I don't understand Uber at all. Like, I understand that they invest in the future and the platforms and the technologies, but like, they charge a premium, they treat their drivers like shit, so like, what are you doing with all that money?
Yeah, and like they take like 30% commissions of all their drivers, like hard-earned money. It makes no goddamn sense.
It makes no goddamn sense, but yeah, WeWork is in a place where they'll either be in the red or they'll be worth $47 billion on the stock market, which is why, what is the stock market?
I just don't know how you could be both.
I get you a company
that can do both. That could default on all their loans or go public at a $47 billion valuation.
Yeah.
That is like that is the perfect like statement as to what is wrong with the world today.
The tech bubble.
Like, and how I just truly don't understand it.
No, how I just don't understand. And I really don't understand the stock market. Like, I just want to say that.
You know, I actually did go on CNBC when Snapchat went public, and to this day, I think it was one of the best days of my life. Like, it was so much fun. Like, people there, like, did not know what I was doing, and, like, I was on this panel list with all these people, like, wearing ties, and I was talking about, like, DJ Khaled on Snapchat, and it was so funny. And I told everyone I didn't think it would be a wise investment to invest in Snapchat, and look at me. Predicting the future. Okay, we are going to take a quick break.
OC?
Yes, I did watch OC. It was actually a great episode.
Agreed.
It was madness, pandemonium. Like, everyone was just so crazy. Gina, when they were still at the hospital, and Gina was like literally starting fights with everyone, like Bronwyn for calling her younger sister. Like, Gina is on the brink of an incredible mental breakdown.
Agreed, but I felt everything Gina was saying. And first of all, I just want to say Bronwyn, Kelly, and Emily are like the worst trio of all time. Like, they are, like, separately, I like each of them individually sometimes. Together, they are the woats.
Jackie, they are the trio. Like, they are the trio.
They're the Freys Framigas.
No. They didn't choose the trio. Like, they got into the trio by default, which is why it's so sad.
They were horrible when they were sitting around and Kelly was being like so not sensitive to Shannon. Even if Shannon's being dramatic, like, she went to the hospital. Like, no one goes out of their way to go to the hospital on vacation.
I'm sorry. I disagree with you.
No, and honestly, as someone who was mildly concussed once at my wedding, like, in that moment, you really don't know what you're supposed to do.
Okay, but by the way, in that moment, you were justified. You fell from literally like 6 feet up and you hit your head on the floor. Like,
no, but hitting someone on the head when they have a metal bowl on their head, like, that's not
No, I'm sorry. I totally disagree with you. I thought Shannon, and I love Shannon. Like, I thought she was being so dramatic.
I thought she was being dramatic, but like, Kelly should just feel bad for what you don't hit people on the head.
Oh, that Kelly should have had a better reaction, like just to being like, oh, I'm sorry, and like behind her back say that you think she's being dramatic, but like to her face, she just got back from the hospital. I agree, but Shannon was being so out of control, like so dramatic, like so stupid with the CAT scan. And then, by the way, I totally agree with Kelly's boyfriend. Like, if you have a mild concussion, you're literally the last thing you're supposed to do is drink.
I agree, but a mild concussion, like, actually, no, you can drink then. That's fine, I think. But I think she just wanted to make sure that there was nothing else wrong because you never know, and you don't take chances with your head.
Oh my God, no, I'm sorry. Like, Jackie, it was so dramatic.
It's dramatic, sure, but like, she's a mom. You don't take chances with your head.
I disagree. Then she's like, my left eye. Like, it was so stupid.
I don't know. Like, it's her prerogative to go to the hospital. That's her choice to make.
Agreed.
She's only ruining her own good time. So when Kelly was like sitting there just like being so mean and the girls are just backing her up, like Bronwyn is the most spineless woman I've ever seen on
Because
television.
honestly, I don't even know where Bronwyn stands on anything because she never makes a definitive statement.
How does she even stand up when she doesn't have a spine?
No, it's a great point. Like, even the conversation she had with Gina when they went on the hike, like, it's so empty. Like, nothing like, I don't know whose side she's on. I know she's staying with the Figas, but I don't even know because I think a part of her wants to survive on the show and she knows that in order to do that, you have to be friends with Tamara and Shannon.
She will just do and say anything to get people to like her. And like, she stands for nothing. She stands by nothing.
And I think where we disagree the most...
She doesn't stand at all.
Right. She sits by nothing. I think where we disagree the most is Gina versus Emily.
Okay, let's go.
Because there's something so losery about Gina. I mean, actually, everything about Gina is so losery to me. And
you think Emily is cool?
No, I think that Emily's genuine. Like, I think Emily has a real friendship with Gina. And while I do think that Emily could be there more for Gina, like, Gina has got to take some motherfucking responsibility for what's going on in her life. Like, her blaming Emily for the fact that, like, all this shit is happening to her and Emily's not there. Like, you have bigger fucking fish to fry. You almost got arrested in front of your kids. Like, stop focusing so much on the fact that Emily wasn't there for you and didn't say the right thing and wanted you to come to Vegas. And I did think, and as much as I thought what Emily did was incredibly weird in Vegas, what Gina, that was mean. That was mean.
Oh, for sure. But they were having an honest conversation and going below the belt. So Gina just said what we were all thinking. I think Emily, and in that conversation, like when they were both in the room, like that was a conversation to like mend. Gina finally told her why she was upset, and Emily just didn't know how to be a friend. Like, it's like she can't go below the surface, and I think at the end of the day, it's because she like puts a nice coat on everything and doesn't want to talk about what's going on in her life and doesn't want to like see reality. So she just like is surface level, and I think she's a surface level friend, even though they have a deeper connection. Right now, when she was like, and that's it. And even if Gina had said more things, like she didn't know what to say in order to be a friend because she's just like living a fake life right now.
I don't know, I disagree. Like,
and when Gina's just like in it, and yeah, her life is a hot fucking mess, and she's just trying to get through, and she's not doing the right things all the time. But Emily really can't relate to her because Emily's in the same position and she's just pretending like everything's okay.
Well, but by the way, that's Emily's prerogative to do so. I just think that, like, when she came into the room and she was like, can you just tell me what I did, like, so I can apologize, we can move forward? Like, I thought that the way that Gina handled, like, okay, let's be real. Like, Emily didn't really do anything to Gina that was that terrible.
No, but
like,
she's miffed.
She's miffed. So I just thought, like, the way Gina handled that was so immature, like an actual 2-year-old. And we know Gina is a 2-year-old. Like,
actually, when they went into the room, I was already on Team Gina because when Kelly was being so fucking mean to Gina, saying she's not an accomplishment woman,
agreed,
hit her on the head, talking so much trash to her, and Emily, I can't separate them. And Emily is sitting right there and doesn't stand up for her friend once. And you say we're best friends, we do everything together, we sleep together, we travel together, we talk every day, and you don't have your friends back. When they already went into that room, I was like, you're a shitty friend.
By the way, I agree, but in that moment, Gina was like fucking ignoring Emily. She hadn't answered any of her calls or text messages. She knew that Gina was mad at her. And then Gina's like out like with the Tres Amigas. Like, honestly, I agree. Fuck you, Gina. I don't want to defend you.
But if you're real friends, and like, yeah, you get into these situations where you're miffed at someone. If I'm mad at you, but someone's coming for you, or I know you're mad at me, like, all of that goes away for a second. Like, I have your back. We can fight later about it. That's true. If they're the true friends that Emily keeps saying that they are, which I do think that they are.
Yeah, but I just think that, like, Gina is so immature and such a child and, like, really is making such poor life choices and is putting a lot of the blame on other people. It's, like, frustrating to watch her be in such a downward spiral. And I just think Emily's a really good friend for her to have. Like, Emily has her shit together. And as much as she might not be, like, expressing all of her feelings, like, she is a lawyer. Like, she has her life together. And I think Gina could really use a friend like that. And I think Tamra and Shannon are like in this different stage of their lives where like their kids are grown, and like I just don't know if her being with Tamra and Shannon like groupie is the right move for her right now.
But I understand why she's doing it. Like Tamara and Shannon have both had the rug pulled out from under them. They've both been in the exact position that Gina is in, where it's just like you cannot see the forest through the trees. Your life is a hot fucking mess. Emily doesn't understand what it's like to be in that situation. According to things I've read, like she might know soon.
Right.
And so she just can't. Like Shannon and Tamara can give her good advice, or at the very least say like it's horrible right now, but it will get better. Like, and Emily's just not saying anything about anything and just wondering why she's not in Vegas, and then being like, I hate when people do that where it's like, I'm sorry that I just wanted you there.
Yeah.
Like.
No, but there's just something about Gina I cannot get behind. Like,
agreed. She's not my favorite of the
She's
Housewives.
literally the worst. Like everything that comes out of her mouth, I just want to like cry, and I really don't like her. But also, I was really struggling watching last night's episode because my heart is always with Kelly Dodd, but like she's more often than not like indefensible.
She was so wrong last night, a million different ways.
But I love her.
I know, I love her too, but she was wrong, and then she was on Watch What Happens Live, and she was being.
I heard she was being nuts.
She was being even more wrong. Meghan McCain was on, and she was very articulate, but I wasn't agreeing with some of her housewives' positions, but maybe it's because Kelly was sitting right there. You can't disagree with Kelly.
It's actually very hard to be on Watch What Happens Live as like a super fan with a person from the franchise. I find that it always muddies the water.
Yeah, so I think like Kelly was just wrong in every respect, and the hitting people. It's like, this isn't kindergarten.
Oh, I agree.
You're not Penelope
And the
Disick.
fact that she hit someone again is the stupidest, most insane part of the whole episode.
Right, and if I were, I flipped when Gina flipped. Like, that would just have brought me to the brink. Like, these petty fresa framigas, like, the worst crew, and I'm stuck with them.
It's so losery. Like, I can't.
It's so loser.
Okay, we're going to talk to Stephanie Hollman because she's also going to be on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Dorfman tonight, and I just want to ask her like if they know each other and things like that. So stay tuned, take a break, go to the bathroom, get a snack. We're going to be back with Stephanie Hollman in just a few minutes. If you have a question for her, feel free to leave it on our Instagram page or on the YouTube feed, and we will do our absolute best to get it to her. We love you guys. Be right back. Bye. We are back with the queen of Real Housewives of Dallas, Stephanie Hollman. We are so excited to have, we talk about you all the time. Like, we love you so much.
You're so sweet.
We think you are just like one of the best housewives, and we are obsessed with you. Greatest of all time.
Thank you.
You're on our all-star team. Like,
100%. This is so sweet. Thank
we
you.
have a new episode of Dallas coming tonight, right?
Yes.
And you're going to be on Watch What Happens Live tonight with Andy Dorfman.
I am. I'm excited. I've never met her before. So
She's a good friend of ours.
I watch all the Bachelors.
You do?
I watch all the Bachelor in Paradise. I am the biggest nerd. Yes.
That is so funny. She's so cool and so funny, and you should get a drink with her afterwards. She's really fun.
Okay, I definitely will.
Yeah.
I definitely will.
Do you like going on Watch What Happens Live?
You know, I do, but this is the first time I've ever gone on without somebody from my cast. I've gone on with Brandy, I've gone on with Carrie, but I've never gone on with someone other than a cast member.
That is so interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah, I think they think I'm too nervous or something. I have no idea. I don't think it's a compliment.
No, honestly, that is so funny. But you're going to prove yourself tonight.
I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to go there and, not be nervous. It's going to be
We're
good.
in such an interesting place in Real Housewives of Dallas because we lost Carrie, but then we got Carrie.
Yes.
And I actually really like new Carrie. I do miss old Carrie. But I liked old Carrie too. But you have been over the last, 2 seasons super open about a lot of the stuff that you went through.
Uh-huh.
And I just rewatched last week's episode last night, and you see a lot of the time Leanne kind of talking about similar things she went through, but almost kind of as a defense mechanism. And they always cut to you when she does that. And I want to know if you find that annoying.
So whenever I watched last week's episode, even this week's, it makes me sad that I don't want there to be almost like her versus me. I feel like
it's different experiences.
It makes me feel bad because I don't want to make her look bad because I'm dealing with something. So I don't know. So sometimes it does. It makes me feel guilty a lot. Very guilty. Even though I don't cut the show, I do feel guilty because do I think that she says things at inappropriate times? Yes, I do. However, she's been through a lot, and I feel like I hope that people honor her journey as much as they do mine. And sometimes I feel like the audience gives me a lot of praise and not so much her.
Yeah.
And I know her delivery is different.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine having her childhood and coming out the other side. So if that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah.
But did you think she was being too negative in Correas?
Her sharing her story doesn't bother me as much as her throwing suicide out there the way she did. It just felt very jarring. It felt like it wasn't
random.
I just feel like that's something you don't talk about like the way that she did. And I hope she watches it and can see where I'm coming from. But people kill themselves like every 60 seconds. And I think that is something that's a very serious topic and not something to throw out at a dinner unless you truly are dealing with those feelings. And then there's a conversation that needs to be had, that supports her.
Yeah. It was an interesting conversation. It was a weird moment. I think it was a long day.
Yes.
And
a long travel
we
day.
had that toilet.
Yes.
The condemned toilet. Did you pee in it?
I did. I had to go. We were in that car for 3 hours.
I was thinking,
disgusting.
wouldn't you have preferred to just pee in a bush?
I would have. And maybe this episode I do pee in some bushes.
That's funny.
I have no shame. I'm from Oklahoma and I peed in many bushes.
Did Cameron pee in the bush? Pee in the toilet?
She did. She peed in the toilet. Yes.
It was unclear.
Yes,
And I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way.
Yes.
The dress was too long.
Yeah.
Logistically.
Oh yeah. I think every one of us did.
That is so crazy.
Every one of us did. But you have to go. When you have to go, you have to go.
That's
And the bridge that Leanne and Carrie were fighting about, do you guys eventually go on the bridge? Did you walk it?
You have to watch and see, I guess.
Okay.
I don't want to get into too much, but
It did look a little
it looked
janky.
terrifying.
No, I would literally rather die. You guys have kids.
no, there's no way. Whenever I saw it, I didn't want to be a fun hater, but there's
Right.
no way I wanted to walk across that thing.
But
Yeah.
did you understand? I totally got what Carrie was saying. It's like you're opening your house to everyone. Like, Leanne, stop. It's so annoying when someone's nagging,
Yeah.
especially about something that's so personal to you. Like, it's her family's house. I definitely understood where she was coming from in that sense. But I did think it was a little weird that, she was, forcing Leanne to sleep with her. They're new friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
There were extra bedrooms. Were those bedrooms
Right.
not supposed to be used for production or something?
So there were, I think, 7 rooms and only 6 of us, so we definitely each could have had our own room.
Especially one room with two beds.
Exactly. Or, you know, I had my own bed because I was sharing a room with Cameron. So I did have my own bed, which is different. So I do get...
It's different.
Leanne not wanting to, like, spoon carry.
Her delivery was wrong.
Yeah, and the bed was like a queen. It wasn't
full.
king. Like,
You know, her delivery was wrong, but I totally understand her not wanting to, like, sleep in the same bed as someone she literally just met.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I get it. Because even... You know, with Cameron, I mean, we're not the closest, so even that was a little awkward. It's a little awkward sharing space with somebody that you're not like really close with.
Yeah, did you get closer because of it, or was it just awkward across the board?
I mean, no, I don't feel like it made us bond too much.
It wasn't like sleepaway.
I was just trying to be like really proper.
Yeah,
You know, like,
I was gonna
keep
say, I
my
feel like
stuff
she's
away.
tough to room with. Like, you gotta get clean, wipe down the
She's
sink.
very organized. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna make sure I'm just a good roommate. Like, I didn't want to be like Deandra.
Yeah,
Right.
Which, by the way, like, to have that reputation is the absolute worst.
But at least she owns it and she
No,
laughs
she
about
does.
it. Like, people make fun of her and she just goes with it. She has such a thick skin, as seen in her roast that she initiated.
Yeah, which wasn't really a roast. It was like more like a bar mitzvah. Like, everyone like gave speeches.
Everyone
Like,
was like, I love you. Like, what the heck?
it wasn't a roast, but that reminds me of the incredibly awkward conversation that she had with your husband.
Yes.
So, and I thought Travis was really nice. Like, Travis is serious, like, as fuck. Like, he honestly, like, he scares me. Like, honestly, if I had a meeting with him, I would show up, like, even if I was naked. Like, I had no clothes. Like, I would
Even
go,
if I was
like,
naked.
honestly, I prefer to go naked. No kidding. So, like, I can't believe that she didn't show up at first. Like, that is, to me, like, bad business 101.
You know, yes, I don't feel like she should have messaged me at 1:30 a.m. to
Agreed.
cancel a meeting with him.
Yeah.
And I know that some people are, you know, like, they don't want to message. I'm like, message my husband. I do not care. Like,
Yeah.
I would rather not be in the middle.
Yeah.
But in the morning, I did not, I mean, it was 1:30 a.m. I saw the message on my way home from taking my kids to school because I wake up at
You're
6
busy
a.m.,
in
but
the
I'm
morning.
getting my children bathed and fed and out the door so that way they're not, again, late for school. But yeah, I feel like he was so annoyed, and he and I are very different. That he will call somebody out where I'm like, it's okay.
No, but that's so funny
Yeah.
and that's so relatable. Like, I cannot confront anyone. Like, I would literally rather die. Like, step all over me. I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
no, I feel like I appreciate that about him because I'm not like that. But whenever I watched the episode, I was like, honestly, I laughed, but I was also like, oh my God, poor Deandra.
Yeah.
No, but he handled it so well and he forgave her and he's going to meet with her, correct?
Yeah,
And then
no,
he
you
said-
will see that. You will see the progression
Okay,
of their
good.
He
I'm looking
said-
forward to it.
He said the most astute thing on the phone. Like, he breezed by it, but it was like the way I choose to live my life. He's like, if someone apologizes, I'm good. Like,
Yeah,
no one in this day and age, like, forget, especially in Housewife franchises, like, you apologize, like, time after time, and, like, you apologize, it's over. Like, that
Yes.
is a great way to live your life.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
I really
agree.
appreciated that.
I agree. He's actually better about that than I am because I'll kind of hold on to things. I'll be like, you apologize, but I still don't think you're a good person. Like, I accept your apology, but I do not trust you.
I do not accept you.
But he literally will like move on. I wish I was more like that. I think
Yeah.
it's also, I think sometimes guys are better at that too than girls. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe not. Maybe
Just like
it's
taking
me.
things at face value and not
Yeah.
like reading into it
Like
as
guys,
much.
yeah, like guys kind of let each other have it and then they move on with their lives. And I think girls sometimes you stew in it. So you're like,
Yeah.
I accept your apology, but not really.
Yeah. Your house is beautiful.
Thank
You
you.
got rid of the pool.
Yes.
Do you ever miss it?
No, there's not one day I wake up and I'm like, wow, I wish I could go for a dip as I cook breakfast. No, there's not one day that I miss
It is
it.
so beautiful. Jackie and I went to Highland Park Village and we went
did.
shopping and we like really felt like you and Brandy. Like, I was Stephanie
We had
and she was Brandy.
such a great day.
It is such a great place to
It's
live.
beautiful. Highland
Yeah.
Park Village is so incredible. You should have like messaged us.
We
could
should
come
have.
out and had margaritas with you.
Oh, we should have.
We'll do that again.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll come back.
We'll be back. We have plans.
Yeah, we have big plans, big plans. And so we're really seeing all the friendships like start to develop. Is it hard to throw someone new in the mix? Because for the most part, all the girls are OGs, right?
Except
yeah,
Deandra
well,
Cameron.
Except for Deandra and Cameron, yeah.
Deandra and Cameron. Brandy, Lan, and I are the three from the
Original
first
season.
Uh-huh. You know, I don't want to say getting rid of Carrie, but not having Carrie Duper back and having Carrie Brittingham come in, the dynamic changes so much
Yeah.
that it was hard for me to get my footing because it just felt off. And maybe
Yeah.
that's some of the reason that in the beginning of the season I felt off. It just didn't feel like everything felt off to me.
Yeah.
But then whenever you get in a groove and you get to know like Carrie and she becomes part of the group, I think the audience and everyone will really start to warm up. She's fantastic, and you'll see Carrie Draper in as well. But even watching this, there are times when I do miss Carrie. I think Carrie brought like a lot. I miss her interviews. She's so funny.
Yeah.
And she has such a dry sense of humor. So even watching it sometimes, I'm like, oh, I do miss her.
Yeah, I
She's
miss
a
her too.
friend.
She's a really good friend, and it's always nice to see that. And I think that's why you're on track to be like our greatest housewife of all time, because like across the board, like personal life, you're interesting, you open up, like you're such a good friend to all of your friends, but you also are interesting, and like I just love watching you, you know? And it's hard to be all of those things. To be a good friend, but also be like in the drama, but not too in it, and like, just being on the right side of history.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope I don't let you down.
No,
It's okay, but then even if like you do something we don't agree with, like you're also just
It's
that's what it
always
is.
about how you handle it, not what you did. Like
It's this year, I kind of stood up for myself maybe a little bit more. Like if there was a certain thing that I was just like, I started bothering me, and I started resenting this certain person, which you will see. And I actually spoke my mind, which I never do, because like you said, I would rather have peace. And but a lot of times at my own
sacrifice.
like at my own sacrifice, because I would feel like crap inside and apologize for things I wasn't even sorry for, just so they felt good about the situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just felt like that's just not being true to myself. That's being true to somebody else.
It's not a good way to live either.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was very soul-sucking. So those things I'm excited to see, because and nervous to see, because whenever you get out of your comfort zone, there is growth, but there's also a lot of scary things that can happen. Yeah.
I want to take questions from Instagram, because we got so many Instagram questions for you, and one of them is such a good question. I can't believe I didn't think of it myself. From Lindsay Doe. What is your favorite fast food chain in Dallas? Do you love Whataburger? Because we are obsessed with Whataburger. Like, it is the best fast food chain in all of America.
Okay, so throughout college, I always went to Whataburger like at 2 a.m. in Stillwater. It was the best food ever. So I am very much a girl of convenience. So Taco Bell, I feel like I go through a lot with my husband, because it's right by our house. I still love Whataburger. There's just not a close Whataburger to me.
You know what? There's not as many as there should be.
Yeah, we had a hard time finding one in Dallas. It took us like days until we ran into one.
Yeah, very upsetting.
Yeah, it's really, like, Dallas is a hard place to find a Whataburger. But Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell are my two go-tos.
Okay, those are good ones.
Do you get free classes at SoulCycle because of Hollman lockers?
Good question.
You know what? I love SoulCycle, and I have a lot of free cycling classes.
You do?
Yes, they do give them to me.
That's good.
Occasionally.
I love SoulCycle. I use Hollman lockers once to twice a week.
you.
Jackie opens it up and she's like, look, it's Hollman lockers.
No, and I never forget. I'm like, thank you for these Hollman lockers for keeping my things secure.
Oh my gosh, I love you. No, they're amazing. I mean, it's such a great, like SoulCycle, Equinox, that whole team, everything they do is just so amazing and elevated. And
Yeah.
This is a question from someone who I believe is your assistant.
Oh gosh.
Trey?
Yes, is it the fart question?
What is the longest you've ever held in a fart?
I mean, I don't feel like it's healthy for you just to hold it in, so
It's not.
5 seconds.
When was the first time you farted in front of your husband?
Oh, good question.
Oh my gosh. Probably, not too long after we started. I don't know how he fell in love with me. If I were him, I would have ran for the hills. Probably 3 weeks in, I think I was
So that's the longest you've held in the fart.
Yep.
Yeah, that was 3 weeks. I would go outside and be a lady, and then finally, I think I was drunk one day, and it just accidentally came out.
Honestly, that's incredibly relatable.
Thank you.
This is from Lauren Ward. What's one way your life has forever changed since being a housewife, besides from the obvious being recognized and working with brands? And if you go back in time and tell yourself one thing before the show, what would it be?
Okay, if I went back in time and told myself something before I started season 1, because season 1 and season 2, I was like a terrified. I don't know how they asked me back every year. I was like, "What? Are you sure?" But I would say just. Honestly, be yourself. It took me a few years to realize that you don't have to be perfect, and that people relate to the cracks more than they relate to this facade that you have up. And that's what I would tell myself. And then something that's changed, I just think I'm more open and authentic about myself and who I am, and I don't expect as much from myself. I don't expect myself to be perfect, and if I make mistakes, I give myself a break. And I used to not be like that, so it's something that's very refreshing.
Yeah, that's actually great advice.
Great life advice, too.
Rebecca Baby, do you want to have a little girl so that Brew and her can get married?
So, I'm almost 40. If my husband could get pregnant and carry the child and have the baby, yes. But
if only modern medicine.
Only that. But I don't feel like, I just think my kids are 8 and 10. I'm at a stage now in my life where it's pretty easy and I kind
You're
of like
handling
that.
it.
Yeah, so I don't think so unless something happens.
Right.
Travis also has a vasectomy. He's been neutered, so it would be.
They are reversible.
Yeah,
but
I'd have to go reverse that.
This is such a good question from Barth Vader. Can you ask Stephanie what she thinks about Leanne going around town asking for free wedding services?
Oh my gosh! Do you know that's a question I'm scared I'm going to get on tonight's Watch What
Practice.
Watching it was very awkward.
It was so uncomfortable in the bridal shop.
It was uncomfortable. I just hope that was something that was almost planned out, like where they knew that was happening.
Yeah.
And the lady wasn't put on the spot.
Yeah.
You do. Like somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, they were like, do you ever get free stuff doing the show? Yeah, absolutely you do. And I've had people offer to give me flowers for parties I've thrown just so they have some recognition.
Yep.
And so that does happen. And I think a lot of us have used, other people's services that they offer. So I don't want to say that's never, I've never put it out there and I never
expected
it was, it was awkward, but I'm hoping that it was awkward on purpose.
Yeah.
I have not even asked Leanne about that. I didn't know.
It was really
how
painful to watch.
Yeah, and you know what? I should reach out to her because I didn't really call her after the last episode either because I did feel like it was awkward because I did feel like they kind of put the stories against each other.
And they were cutting to you when she was talking.
But I did feel bad about that. So I felt guilty to even reach out because I knew it was a hard episode for her. I should reach out. That's what a friend should do.
It seemed like she was just in a bad place that day.
She was in a really bad place, I feel like, for that trip.
Yeah, okay.
But if you look back, and I've talked to her about this, I feel like her hardest moments are always on cast trips. Like that's when she always spirals.
Yeah, like the boat.
Yeah, like
the house with the glass and
and
Marie.
Yes. Marie. Oh my gosh, I will never forget that.
In Austin.
I will never forget
And that was
being
you
in
in Brandy's
Austin.
house, right?
Oh my gosh, I was in bed with Brandy. I was so scared because I had never experienced something like that before. And like they were yelling at each other and we were like text messaging Carrie Duber. I'm like, oh my God, are we safe?
Right, recording on your phone.
That was so ridiculous.
That was so crazy.
Looking back now, you're used to the chaos,
craziness.
but I have never. That was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, we are all gonna die.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This is from Kat Cassover. Can you tell us the story of how you and Brandy met and became friends?
So Brandy was one of the first people I met when I started dating Travis. We went to dinner, Travis and I, with her and Brian, because Brian and Travis are best friends.
That's so
and
cute.
Thank you. And I remember sitting at dinner and we were so annoying. And I was like, I fell in love with Brandy way before Travis. Like it was just intimate, or instant connection, and it was so easy.
Do your husbands love that you're so close?
I mean, it's easy to travel together.
Yeah.
But they also think we're really annoying. So you'll see later on in the season we do a double date. Totally Brandy and Stephanie style. You'll love it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So funny. And you have a podcast now too, right?
Yeah, we do. It's called Weekly Dose of BS.
Do you get in trouble from Bravo from some of the stuff you guys talk about?
So
have you ever?
It's hard to talk about the show. Like you really just can't give away
spoilers,
behind the scenes, or certain spoilers. So kind of the same way that you would do press, you just have to tease. But also I wanted it to be a place where we're not being negative about the women on the show, because I don't think that's fair to them for us to create a space for ourselves to have fun and then just trash our cast members. So it's been fun. It's just something that's fun, lighthearted. We've always wanted a spinoff, and we have not gotten one yet. So we created our own spinoff.
Love that.
Screw you guys.
Create the spinoff you wish to see in the world.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Do your guys' kids get along really well?
They are such good friends. So Chance and Brooklyn talk every day. They FaceTime each other. They play Roblox together, this little online game. It's so cute. I guess in that game you can buy each other gifts. So she'll buy him a car, he'll buy her a house. It's really cute. And then
I'm dying.
Brooklyn and Cruz are kind of the two younger, so they're not as close. But Chance and Brooklyn, the oldest, are great friends.
And do your boys like filming?
You don't see my kids on it probably as
much as others.
Because whenever I do film, and they come home from school, I give them the option.
Yeah.
Would you like to do this? Would you not? If they have a really bad day at school and they come home and they're in a mood, I'm not going to force them to do something that I know is just self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to set them up for failure because I'm their mother. But a lot of times they're excited about it. They love doing like the painting your dog with camera, and they still talk about that. That was so much fun.
That's so cute.
So they will film, but I really let that be their decision.
Their choice.
Because they're 8 and 10, and I don't want them to resent me either.
Yeah, or the show.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you, and it's one that we've been talking about for a while, and something that started to happen last season, which I find to be so weird. And I think that the friendship between Cameron and Leanne is one that is so strange, and I don't understand like the benefit. Like, they're just two totally different people, and Cameron is so defensive of Leanne, and it's just this weird friendship that makes no sense to me. But I'm not in it, so maybe it makes more sense to you.
And like
No, it
Cameron's
does not.
Cameron's
Right?
Yeah, Cameron's been so hard on like Brandy for being inappropriate when like Leanne is equally
worst of them all.
inappropriate and she endorses her
Yes.
behavior, and it doesn't make sense. But I feel like in some of the previews we've seen, like, does that start to crumble a little bit?
You will see there is a shift at some point in the season, but that always was something that bothered me, as I felt I always, like, Cameron and I have and I do love her. If you're watching this, Cameron, I do not like you. But I do feel like we fight over such petty things, but then something big will happen and it's kind of looked over if it's Leanne, and that has always kind of bothered me.
Yeah, it's like different set
Yeah.
of rules.
She's very critical.
Yes, yeah. So I'm like, I don't mind if you're critical. Just be like that with everybody.
Yeah.
And then you don't feel so picked on.
I totally
think
feel
that's
that.
fair.
It's a very weird friendship, and I don't understand like what they both get out of it. It's like they buried a body in the woods together, and now they have
buried a
to
body
stick
in
to
the
it.
woods?
Yeah, like
It was
it's
like Leanne buried a body for Cameron.
Oh, see, and yes. But you know, I think there are some friendships where loyalty means friendship, but loyalty to a fault.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was a point where Brandy and I had very much blind loyalty to each other.
yeah,
And the
and that's not
franchise.
always healthy.
And it's not. And I feel like it's not healthy for ourselves. It's not. It also makes horrible TV because people are like, you're lunatic for agreeing with everything this person says, and vice versa. So for me, I think it's a healthier way to be if you. I think it's also being a better friend if you tell somebody, I don't agree with you. You know,
Helping
it really
them grow.
is. Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed. Well, we love you. We can't wait to
I
watch
love
you
you
tonight on
more.
Watch What Happens Live.
Thank
and
you.
new episode of Dallas premieres on Bravo at 9 o'clock, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And follow Stephanie Hollman on Instagram at Steph Hollman, and go to SoulCycle and get a Hollman locker. We
Yes.
love you. Thank you guys for listening to the Morning Toast and Millennial Morning Show. We go live Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, so feel free to subscribe and like this video. We're also available on the podcast store, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Subscribe, rate, you know what to do. We will see you tomorrow with Abigail Baker from Blue Bloods. Bye.